Hello, it's a beautiful day here in the suburbia. So it's a nice day today, thank God, because our heater died last night. We had to set up some space heaters in the basement to protect the pipes from freezing, but thankfully only got down to 37. But today it is beautiful. It's like 55. Let's see what it is. And okay, 53. It's 53 degrees out. And I decided that while the hubby is looking for parts to fix our heater, and hope that he can, we don't have to call PSE&G, I want to do a review of our Easy Up Canopy. Now, when we car camp, we do bring one of those 10 by 10 canopies with us. Only if it's going to rain, set it up over our picnic table area so that we can sit under the canopy in the rain and eat or hang out or play cards or whatever. But the canopy we have is kind of an El Cheapo one, and it's heavy and it's really hard to set up. You have to have two people. Doing it by yourself is a nightmare. But even with two people, it's still a bad dream. And you have to lift up at each leg and get the little thing to slide up past a little spot that clicks. And with my shoulders, I can't push up on those anymore. So I told my husband we needed to get one of those lighter weight canopies that one person can set up, and all you do is you go boop and it's up. So we read some reviews and we bought an Easy Up canopy. Let me show you how it comes in the box. So this is how it was shipped, just like that. And we are going to do a box opening and set it up while I'm all alone. See if I can get this up by myself. Let's see how easy up it really is. Ooh, maybe I should do this on time lapse. That might be funnier. Okay, I got it out of the box. It's still a little heavier than I would like, but I can pick it up and move it if I have to. But it is a little, maybe a heavier is better because then it won't blow away in the wind. Well, let's see what we got here. So that's the cover. Here's the base. Here's the base. And what else came in the box? And if you notice, I was very careful when I used the knife on the box. I made only a partial slit, not all the way through, then pulled the box up and cut so I wouldn't cut anything on the inside by accident. So I was very, very smart about that. What do we have here? Okay. In way of directions, this is the only thing. Free replacement for 1 year. This is the one that I got. No booklet of instructions. That's kind of funny. Okay, and this, I'm assuming, is the bag it goes in. Let's hope it fits in the bag easily, because I hate it when they don't fit in the bag easily. Oh, and something metal just came off. Look at that. One of the little grommets coming here came off. Okay, so that's a big no-no. That's a bad thing. This was supposed to have wheels. There's no wheels. It's supposed to be a wheeled bag, and there's no wheels. Alright, you get a couple bad points there. Okay, so the first thing I noticed is the riveting job is really bad. This one here is totally popped off. That was a piece of metal I found. Okay, and then I look at it and I go, where's my wheels? There's supposed to be wheels on this. There's no wheels. Where the heck are the wheels? Well, Here they are. So I thought this was just a spacer piece of cardboard to keep, you know, this from moving around, but it's actually, I think it's got the wheels in it. So let's open this up and see if this is the wheels. Oh, look at that cute little wheel. Let's see what else is in here. I really can't stand boxes that are so hard to open. Oh, we get 4 little tiny stakes. Boy, could they be any smaller? Oh, and this might actually be instructions. Yay! Oh, and I guess these are to hold the wheels on. All right, let's get the instructions out and look at them. You have to have instructions. The doggy commercial. Okay, I was going to do a time lapse because I think the whole time lapse thing is really, really funny. But I think I'm going to do this real time because I want you to see how hard or easy it really is. And when it's in time lapse, you lose that. And then I can't talk about, well, this was hard or this was easy. So I'm just going to do it real time. And if you want to watch time lapse, just take that little thing, that little dot, and go across the bottom, and you'll go through faster. You all know how to do that, right? Yeah, okay. By the way, I put the wheels on, and they got these little plastic clips that I think the first time we're wheeling it across something and it hits a little bump and the wheel presses against the clip's going to fly off. So, not liking the way the wheels attach. Okay, I think I figured it out. I hope I'm doing it right. Okay, I think I got it. So there's these little plastic things, and you gotta hook you put the vent on first, which I thought, according to the picture, the vent would go on last, but I don't know. I'm not an engineer. So these little plastic things are supposed to flip up, and you hook this on. I hope you can hear me, but they don't come up all the way. Maybe I gotta open it a little more. Okay, I gotta go inside and look this up on the computer because this is certainly not an easy up, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. According to the instructions, you're supposed to put the vent top, the little top, on first. And there's these little plastic things it's supposed to hook onto, but they won't hook onto it. I have to open it up all the way to get them to hook on, but the directions show it only partially opened. And I can't get those things to move. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong, or their instructions are wrong, or somebody, I don't know. Something's not right, so I need help. Okay, so this is what I did. I called the company. The first person I got on the phone was very hard to deal with. She wouldn't let me talk. She kept interrupting me. And at one point I said, hello, hold on, could you please let me talk? She hung up. I don't know, to me, that's poor customer service. So I waited a couple minutes and I called back. Another woman answered the phone and I let her know right from the start. I said, I'm going to tell you right now. I said, I'm a very upset customer. I bought this last month, paid $200 for it, and now I want to use it. It's in my backyard and I'm having problems with it. I've already called once and the customer service girl was very rude, kept interrupting me, and when I said, would you let me talk please? She hung up. I wasn't using any profanity. I did admit to her that I was upset, but I wasn't cursing her out and I wasn't yelling and screaming at her. But you're interrupting me, could you please let me talk? And I told her flat out, the second woman, I said, how is this going to go? Do you want to have a good customer service relationship where I actually want to use this product and you can help me over the phone, or you could just send me a shipping label and I'll return it to you, and you have somebody who's going to leave a bad review for a defunct product and bad customer service? Or do you want to have a customer who's happy with the product and happy with the way they were treated on a customer service call? Your call, you decide. She's like, well, I really want to help you. I said, okay, so this is the problem that I'm having. And I explained it to her, and she said that they get a lot of phone calls about this, okay? And she said, trust me, just yank on it, tug it down there and get it into place. You want it to fit snug. You will never have to take it off again. Once it's on there, it stays on there. She said, sometimes they do rip when you put them on, but if it rips, call me. She gave me her direct number to call her, so I don't have to call regular customer service. And she's also emailed me, so I have her email address now. And I will send you free of charge a replacement piece. That is good customer service, okay? So that first woman I talked to needs to learn from the second woman I talked to, okay? So customer service is a big deal with me. Even if your product, there's something wrong with it, but you treated me right, I'm still gonna rate you well in a review. But if your product is even if your product is fantastic, but I called you and you treated me like crap in customer service, I'm gonna leave you a bad review. You know, customer service is very important to me, very important. So I'm going to show you what the problem is. So this is the vent part that you put on first, and it has these little pockets. See the little pocket right there? Has to slip over these plastic pieces, and once you get 3 of them in, it is really tight. Even just getting it over the middle right here, you see I'm pulling on it with everything I've got, and it's gonna be really hard. I don't see how I can get it on there, but I'm gonna try. She said definitely don't open it up all the way. Have it only partially open, which is about what it looks like in the picture on the instructions. And I'm going to try again. And if it rips, they'll send me a replacement piece. So let's see how it goes. Alright, try to get this piece on. Wonder Woman, I got it. It really was hard, but I got it on. Alright, so now the next piece. Time lapse is so funny. Okay, that was annoying, mildly annoying to put on because it's got the hole in the middle, so it's like a big donut. and it got twisted, so it was kind of like part of it was inside out, and it's really crazy figuring it out. But I think I got it on there right. So here's the next step. This is the part that's supposed to be the easy up. I am supposed to be able to get underneath this and push up on the center, and it all locks into place easily. That might be hard with my shoulder though, you know, but we'll see. Okay, this part I'm gonna do real time, so you can hear me grunting and groaning with this part. I'm gonna walk it out a little bit more. So you got the vented one because we thought that in the summertime it would be a little cooler, and if the winds blow, maybe they'll blow through it rather than catch it and grab it. But who knows what it's going to do in the rain. Alright, so now I got to get underneath it. And lift it up. Let's see what happens. Oh, kind of wild. It's supposed to click. Click. Oh, okay. That's not easying up. It's not clicking. Can't do it. Okay. I can't push up on it hard enough to make it click. Supposed to push up on this center piece and it just pops into place. Can't get it. I just can't get it. Make sure that these are moved, maybe move these up a little bit, make it a little easier. I don't know. So I'm moving the fabric up a little bit. Maybe the fabric is too tight and holding it back. I don't know. Moving all those up a little. Almost. Oh. That actually did make it a little easier, but it still hasn't clicked yet. All right, I'm actually gonna pull the fabric up all the way on the Velcro. See, these are tips that they should have in the instructions, and they don't. So I'm moving the fabric up all the way. It's only holding on a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to try again. So there's the vent overhang. Oh, this one here didn't go right. Oh, look at that. Oh, maybe that's part of the problem. I gotta fix that. Okay, so part of the problem was the fabric got on the wrong side of the vent top, and it looks like it, I hope it didn't tear. I might have to ask for a new one. No, I think it's all right. I think I'm gonna have to seam seal this though. This isn't seam sealed at all. So when it rains, water is gonna pour in here. This whole thing has to be seam sealed. I can't believe that they didn't even seal these seams on this thing. That's crazy. Wow. All right, so it's not seam sealed. Look at this. So they say you can use it in the rain. Really? You see those holes? No seam seal. Look at those holes. This is gonna pour water in when it rains. This is definitely falsely advertised. I mean, it doesn't say that it's waterproof, it says rain resistant, but look at those holes. You see that light coming through? This whole thing has to be seam sealed. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm glad I took it out and tried it out before we use it. Look at it. This is the vent part. Look at the holes. I don't know if you can see that light coming through. Look at this one over here. See the light coming through? That's rain coming in. That is rain coming in. Wow. Okay. In my personal opinion, this was not worth $200. I cannot give this a good review. Once I figured out that I had to move the fabric up and not have the fabric tight to lift it from the middle, it did lift and open very easily at that point. Not real easy, but I could do it with a little struggle. All right. But that should be part of the instructions, to not put the fabric on tight until you get it up. All right. This thing should not be advertised it's good for use in the rain, because it's not. It's not seam sealed. So I have to go and buy a seam sealer and do all of these seams. This is just crazy, and I don't know how I'm going to do seam. Do you know how hard this is going to be to seam seal this thing? This is a nightmare. This is not worth $200. I am thinking of returning this. All right. I'm sorry. I'm happy with it. Okay, so I called customer service to tell them I wanted to return the canopy, and they ended up making things right for me. The customer service woman this third time that I called them was wonderful also. So as far as the product goes, I think the instructions should give you a little bit more tips to not fasten down the fabric the whole way till you get it up, because putting it on, even putting it on loosely, I couldn't open it. But not attached at the corners, it did go up. I'm not going to say that it was easy, but it wasn't a struggle. I mean, I had to kind of really oomph it, but pulling the little lever to unlock it and it comes right down to when you're taking it down was really easy. So it's an easy down. Getting it to fold up wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. It was kind of like any other canopy. It was much easier with two people. With one people it was a little difficult. My biggest concern is that the canopy was supposed to be seam sealed. When I called, the customer service person said, yeah, they definitely supposed to be seam sealed. Yeah, you shouldn't be seeing, you know, all those holes from the needles. So she made the situation right, and I'm gonna go and buy some seam sealer and seam seal it myself. But she did the right thing, you know, to keep a happy customer. So the customer service on this, like I said, the first person was a little a little rude, but the second two were wonderful. And when the signal got dropped on her phone, she looked at my phone number and called me right back, which was really awesome. She really took good initiative there. So A+ on the second two customer service people. And the product itself, I don't think it's worth the $200 I paid for it. Only because the canopy fabric seems a little flimsy. It wasn't seam sealed. I'm not sure that the venting cover is enough, and I think the instructions need some better tips there, you know, to make sure that, you know, it's not over the vent. That was one of my problems too. It was over one corner of the vent. It has to be underneath. So some tips and tricks there on the instructions I think would be nice. Some tip in the instructions telling you that yes, it's going to seem like you're going to rip this piece, just tug it with everything you've got and it will go on. Because that was a scary one, and the customer service girl said they actually get a lot of phone calls about that. Well, if you get a lot of phone calls about that, then maybe you need to change something about your instructions so that the people don't keep calling you about it. If you keep getting a lot of phone calls about one thing, then you know you've got to change something. So see those little fins there? So if you're going to seam seal this, you have to go on here, and on here. So there's some problems with seam sealing this canopy. First of all, the company had no clue when I asked them what type of seam sealer I should use. They said any seam sealer. And those of you that do a lot of seam sealing of tarps know that that's the incorrect answer. Seam sealers are made in different formulations for different types of fabrics, and depending on what this fabric is and the coating that's on it, the seam sealer could ruin the fabric or not cure correctly. They had no clue. They said any seam sealer. That's wrong. So I bought seam sealer with waterproof. I try to remember to put a picture in this video of it. Hold on, maybe I actually have one here. Hold on. Okay, this is the one I used. The one thing I did ask them was, did they have any tips about seam sealing it? Because of the way the seam is made on this, it's a little weird on top. They said to seam on the bottom, on the inside, underside of the tarp. And I'm going to tell you, that's a really bad idea. This one that I have has a silver coating on the inside, and that seam seal did not cure properly where it hit the silver coating. 48 hours later, the stuff was still sticky. And when it finally did dry, the seams kind of stuck together, and when you pulled them apart, it pulled off that silver coating. So I don't know if it's because of the coating or the seam sealer used or what, but definitely if you're going to seam seal this tarp, this canopy, you want to do it on the top. Here's why that's a really costly thing to do. Check this out. So here's the seam, and notice, let me get to a better spot here. It's like a flap. It's not a seam that's flat like it should look like that, but it's sticking up. I don't know if you can see that. It's a flap that's sticking up, see? So if you're going to seam seal this, you would have to do this side and this side. Now you're using twice as much seam sealer, and it's twice as much work. But if I was going to do this tarp again, I would not have taken their advice and done the underside. I would have definitely done it on top. 2 reasons. 1, it wouldn't pull off that silver coating like it did in spots where it got stuck. And 2, you could put it on the frame and seam seal it on the frame. Now, I tried to do the seam sealer on the frame with it upside down, but because there's no Velcro holding it, the least little breeze you got, it's blowing it, and it was just like an effort and futility trying to get it to stay on there. Even on a really still day, you know, all it takes is one gust of wind and it's going to blow it off and ruin all your hard work. So I ended up doing it in stages in the house where I tied it up to the furniture, had it pulled tight, did one seam, let it sit for 24 hours, and then did the next seam. And some of the seams, even the ones that sat for 24 hours, as soon as they touched each other where that seam sealer was, they bonded. It shouldn't have any bonded. Not sticky like a little residue like sometimes it does. I mean, it was stuck together. And when you tried to pull them apart, it ripped that silver coating off. Plus, in the corner areas, it was almost impossible to try to do inside. So you guys can see the silver coating, and there's areas where the seam sealer, I don't know if you can see, that right here it's fine, but when I run my finger down, I can feel spots where it has been pulled off. So see this light area here? The silver coating has been pulled off by the seam sealer. See this big spot here? The silver coating's all been pulled off this spot here where they did stick together. So this whole area right here, all the silver coating and seam sealer, this spot is going to leak. The silver coating's been pulled off right here. So doing it on the underside is a really bad idea. So you really want to seam seal it from the top. But it's going to, like I said, it's going to be twice as much doing both sides of this little flappy seam. And I don't know why they made it a flap like that. That's such a stupid, like, why did they do that? I don't get it. So I hope that gives you an idea of whether or not you want to buy this canopy. Does it go up easy? Yeah, not as easy as they say, but it does go up easy. But it's, you got to do all this work to seam seal it, and now I've got a waterproofing spray. I'm going to try spraying it. If you're going to use this in the rain, buy a different one, because the work you have to go through to make this one waterproof, and it might still leak. All this work I'm doing, it might still end up leaking on me. So it's definitely for shade, not for rain. And yeah, I hope that helps you guys make a decision on whether or not you think you should buy this. If you do, just do the top, don't do the inside. I'm telling you, it was a really bad idea. But I was only following instructions. You figured they would know? They didn't know. Then I bought the waterproofing spray. It says not for X-coated fabrics. They didn't even know what that meant. So I called them. I said, is this an X-coated fabric? We have no idea. So I was on hold for like a good, I don't know, 20 minutes before somebody got back on and said, no, it's not X-coated. But at this point, I'm like, are you sure? So yeah, I'll never order from these guys again. Well, have a great day. Be blessed. Go play with your dog. Okay, we are doing a review of the waterproofness of the Easy Up Canopy. You can check the description below to see my full review of the setup and seam sealing job that had to be done on this canopy. It has been sprayed with a Scotchgard waterproofing spray, and it started raining yesterday afternoon sometime, so we have had a 24-hour steady rain event. And let me see how the canopy held up. Okay, I don't have it extended up all the way so that you can see the top here. All right, there is some water collection going on here, but let's see underneath. And you can tell we have rain in all the corners. So we're going underneath. Now we're underneath. In all the corners, there has been some rain. Now that could have been from blowing in, or it could be from the corners leaking. But in the very center, even with the vent, we have a dry area in the very center. This canopy is a 10 by 10, but this dry area is probably more like a 6 by 6 dry area. Like I said, that could be from the wind blowing it, or it could be the corners leaking, because with these corners, I was unable to seam seal these corners. But running my hand along here, it is dry. Let's check this corner. And I'm touching in there in the seam, and there is no water coming in. So well, I got a little bit of water right here, but it's very little. So this amount that's underneath here could just be from the wind blowing it in. Let's see what we got in this corner. This corner does have a little bit of water in under there, under that flap. Again, very minimal amount for the amount of rain that we had. So these corners did leak, but it looks like the seam sealing job I did, there's a little bit of water that looks like it might have got a little wet right there. But I would say that this held up good. So all these corners, see how it sags? Those are going to fill up with water. And they're either going to pull the canopy down and damage it, or the water is going to be sitting there and is going to end up seeping through the fabric, which is why I sprayed it. How long that spray lasts, I don't know. The company says it does have to be, the Scotch Guard company, the instructions say that it does have to be redone occasionally, every season or after washing. I'm thinking after a couple of rains you might have to redo it. We'll find out. But I don't like the way that sags, because it does allow rain to fill it, water to fill up, pull the canopy down, maybe damage it, or it just starts seeping through the fabric. But so far, no rain coming in through the vent. Very nice. Okay. So I was surprised. It actually did seem to keep the rain from getting that center part wet. But again, this is a 10 by 10, and that area that stayed dry underneath is nowhere near 10 by 10. It's more like 6 by 6. But there wasn't a lot of heavy wind that I remember last night. But just little wind or misting effect. It is a little wet underneath, but it'll offer you some protection, so that's good. Hope this helps you make a better decision and whether or not you want to buy one. Sorry about the dog barking in the background. It's not my dog. It's a friend's dog. She's very rude. See her back there? See her? She wants me to throw the ball for her. Anyway, this has been Jill Marie at Bosom Buddy Creations, giving you my opinion of the Easy Up Canopy and whether or not it'll protect you from the rain. Have a great day, everybody. Be blessed to go play with your dog. P.S. I did this video for my husband. Cheers, everyone. Cheers. I was supposed to do it with a straight face. I just couldn't. This one's for you, hubby. One additional thought about this canopy. I don't know why companies make storage bags just barely big enough to fit the product. Put out those couple extra dollars, make the bag a little bit bigger so it fits in a little easier. I tried folding this canopy up half a dozen times and getting the bag on, and I couldn't get it on without giving myself a heart attack and breaking out into a body sweat, because it, without the actual canopy on top, the bag fits over the framework just fine. You put that canopy top on and try to fold the whole thing up, and I couldn't get it in the bag. I had to take the canopy off to store it, and that is a stupid way to store your canopy. Make the bag just like an inch bigger, people, an inch or two bigger, and it would be perfect. But I couldn't get it on without an incredible struggle. It took 20 minutes and I broke out into a sweat because it just wouldn't go on, and I had to fight and struggle with it. Just make it a little bigger so it slips on really easy and nice. How hard is that? if there's a trick to how you're supposed to fold this thing up to get, I tried it with it over the corners, not on the corners, stuffed down inside, spread out. I tried it 6 different ways and I couldn't get the bag over it without thinking I was going to have a heart attack doing it. It shouldn't be that hard to put the storage bag on, people. Get it right. You know what? You get right down to it, I'll never buy from this company again, and I don't advise anybody else to buy from them either until they get their act together. Okay? Okay. Great. Be blessed. Go play with your dog.